Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street, a VeChain video for you guys today, VET on the exchange. This is a project I haven't actually covered for a couple of months. It is one that we hold for sure in the portfolio for a long time now. One, as for those that probably watch the channel, know that this is one I accumulated off the back of watching many cheeky crypto videos a few years ago, Nick and Chris. And it's definitely something that I feel is definitely got a massive amount of progress ahead of it, and for sure in certain different sectors that are very much in the infancy of blockchain integration. We talked about specifically supply chain management aspects with blockchain, and of course AI, all the rest of the emerging technologies. But in addition to this, of course, they have delved into the financial markets and other areas, critical areas. One of which we're going to talk about very quickly is just the healthcare sector. We've done multiple videos on blockchain and healthcare in general, so definitely we'll link those up at the end of this video for you guys to have a look through if you want to. But we're just going to go top line here, guys, and then we're going to go straight into the charts, see that crazy movement of VeChain over the last week, and where we might see it going in the near future and long future as well. Some crazy predictions for the next bull run, and we'll definitely analyze a couple of those as well. And of course, as always, let us know your thoughts and opinions on any of the assets really that we talk about, of course, but of course with this one in particular, we want to know your thoughts and feelings on VeChain specifically. So let's go straight into this topic for you guys. Of course, as always, don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you have not done so already, and welcome if you're new to the channel. And of course, hit that like button as well if you enjoy the content. Gets us to new and bigger audiences all the time. And I will just reiterate that the different kind of videos that we do, of course, we have ones that go into various specific categories. Of course, we try and cover a multitude of different assets as well. If there's one that we're not covering and you want us to, drop them in the comments. I tend to focus particularly on ones that I hold, pretty much really around the sense that I kind of know what those technologies are about. But there are some that I do cover that I don't hold as well. I've got an XYO video coming out this week, which I don't hold in my portfolio at all. There's a few other ones as well, really interesting projects. Maybe, just maybe, after doing the research, I might dabble in them personally myself as well. But as you can see, a multitude of different topics. So this one, VeChain, as we mentioned previously about the filing of the trademark registration V3TR, go check that video out. It's absolutely phenomenal, a huge market opportunity. Not suggesting that VeChain will take the whole 20 trillion in global payments industry. Of course, there's a multitude of blockchains and other technology opportunities that will definitely take some of that pie, and VeChain will definitely be one of them. This obviously was something we covered a couple months ago specifically, so check that one out if you want more detail. But of course, the next thing here is about healthcare. Now, this actually goes back to a story a couple years ago. First of all, it's the most pixelated picture I've ever seen. But anyway, but it's been reignited quite recently. So actually the 13th of February, about last week or so, in relation to Renji Hospital in the Shanghai district. So this is the Zhaitong, hopefully I've said that correctly, University School of Medicine, proudly announcing the renewal of the partnership, continuing the successful collaboration into the 7th year. So this is quite cool. It's always good to reinvigorate the ideologies that were always set out in the first principles of when these blockchains first started. And we knew that blockchain had a multitude of arms to its bow when it came to what it was capable of doing with its blockchain technology. And we've already mentioned about supply chain management, if I've done numerous videos on that. Of course, we've touched on that trademarking in the global finance aspects, and we've got healthcare and a multitude of other sectors as well that VeChain can really apply itself to. Now, of course, in the healthcare industry, this is absolutely huge, multi-trillion-dollar market. And in that instance, in every country, you're pretty much probably going to have a separate entity of blockchain technology that's going to be utilized for each of those hospitals or medical or pharmaceutical outlets. But in China, of course, VeChain is very prominent. And of course, the market over there in general for healthcare is absolutely gigantic. So it's really good to see that these relations continue. And the case study of the utilization of blockchain in healthcare continues as well. Now, again, we did cover this in a video quite recently. I'll leave a link to this one in the end of this video as well. AI and blockchain in healthcare. Please check it out, guys. It's absolutely phenomenal. I don't know why, but all my educational videos actually have the lowest views out of all of them. But hopefully, if you guys hit the like buttons on that one and share that with your pals, I'd be massively appreciated, because it really does delve into huge detail of how applicable blockchain is to healthcare. And VeChain has always boasted that traceability aspect, the confirmation, the validation, which is what blockchain generally does. Okay, it's not a surprise. Most chains have those capabilities of smart contract data, but it's the ones that are already accelerating this area that I'm quite excited about. So when we look at the price point in a minute, it does make a lot more sense. But I just wanted to reiterate this point, because it was definitely one of the key catalysts of the last few days where the price did surge. Not gigantic amounts, but certainly enough if you're a big holder of VeChain. And it raised a few eyebrows to people that perhaps haven't heard of VeChain before. So we're looking at this bit here. There's a bit more of a delved aspect of it. Eisenreich, I think, is the Twitter handle here. Quite a good person to follow, actually. Does a lot of work and good work on VeChain. So definitely go and check out that account. But as you see, there's a bit of a history behind here. And then this bit here, this is what I'm talking about, represents a new chapter in the realm of medical quality certification. Now, again, I've talked about this significantly in that AI blockchain video. But our kind of like top overview is we've got this approach of merging technologies coming together, like AI and blockchain. We've got the ability to process data, to have this data transparent. So wherever you are in the world, you should have your medical records within all of the systems. And of course, there's a massive amount of interoperability, privacy, security elements that need to be thought out even more so than ever before. And of course, information like biometric data or us as digital identities, wandering around the world, but that should also incorporate everything relating to our health. So it's really good to see this development, but even things, guys, like in the AI sphere about machine learning or deep learning, the AI that's now used in healthcare for analyzing imagery, body imagery, scans, etc., MRIs, CAT scans, whatever, is absolutely phenomenal. It can pick out data perhaps that humans cannot, or the fact that, particularly here in the UK, the NHS was obviously a great service, but it's on its knees half the time, and it's very much got people working their rear ends off all the time. That doesn't mean that this happens specifically, but there's always the opportunity or potential opportunity where something important could be missed. And that could be just related to time. So if we have the utilization of AI on top of this, it really does support the system and employees in healthcare systems as well. So there's all this analytical data of the deep learning spectrum, and then machine to machine learning, deciding what is the best course of action and teaching other machine or systems around the world of what this really means. And then all of a sudden, we're going from this manual procedure of data gathering to automated. And VeChain has a big space in this. In terms of utilizing its blockchain to store all this information. It's completely foolproof, it's validated, it's processed, it can be shared across other chains, it can be shared across other medical institutions. So it's really, really interesting to see this continuous development technologically wise. So for me, as I said, there's multitude of spectrums of VeChain. This one just popped out as a reminder for everyone that these things are always still ongoing. It's still very early stages for the integration, utilization of blockchain in healthcare. And it's really exciting that VeChain is one of those, and one of those that we hold personally. I'm sure many of you out there hold VeChain, or at least got it on your watch list to think about in the near future as well. But of course, I'll leave a link to this in the description. It's a bit of a cool kind of breakdown of anything else that you would perhaps want to know relating to the integration of blockchain. It's not huge, but for those that are new to the space or new to the concept, it's a good little ideology snippet of information. You can obviously Google your own bits and pieces, but I always find little things like that quite helpful to explain to people that are perhaps new to the space. I try and do my best on these videos, but I know sometimes it can be a bit crazy with kind of describing this as a solution. So let's go straight into the chart of VeChain now as well, because we can talk a bit more about the detail around the price moves that we saw in the last few days or the last week or so. So currently floating around this price point of 4.5 cents. We did rise all the way up here on the 16th of February to 5.1 cents. So that's really good considering about a week or so ago, the 5th of February, we were floating around 2.7 cents. And I was umming and ahhing at this time to add more, and I didn't do it. Of course, you can always take advantage of these sweeping momentum aspects when there's a bit of a narrative drive. But what we're starting to see, guys, is these upward trends. Now, a bull cycle or bull runners tends to be confirmed significantly when we start seeing those new higher lows. And so far, it's so good. We will know, in my opinion, towards the end of this mini cycle, which can sometimes take a month or two to get itself going, to determine a bit more of a concrete prediction as to when the bull cycle may start. I've got my anticipations towards the end of the year when interest rates and stuff drop down. In between that, we've got things like the Bitcoin halving event, etc. We've got the mass adoption of crypto, the utilization of it, but we've also got new audiences coming in. So you're going to see a filtering pattern over a few month period when that happens anyway. But as I said, there's a couple of things to look out for here. So first and foremost, in the previous video that we did 2 months ago, we kind of initiated that if you were buying down at this area, a good position to potentially look out for is this one here, based on historic data of this bounce off point at 5 cents. It's the first kind of trigger point in my mind to suggest, okay, ears are up again, looking at VeChain. How serious is this going to be moving in the next bull run? So we've already got that hit, and it's ironic because if we look at this line across the board, it's very much hit it. I think it was like, I've got the line at 0.05138 and we hit, I think, 0.05132. So it was very close indeed. I could probably have any closer if I tried. But that has hit. There's not enough momentum to take us onwards. As we've seen in the history back here towards the latter stages beginning stages of 2022 and in the 2021 bull runs, we can see that that's an identifiable area of interest. It's got a lot of magnetism to it. I always call it like the chart magnetism. It's an area of mini volatility. And this is portrayed really with the fib levels, the trading mentalities and what's going on in the world, etc., etc. And we've hit it nicely. We have retraced. So we've gone from that kind of 5.1 cents. As I said, we're floating around this 4.5 cents as of recording. And this starts matching us up with one of the midterm fib levels back here, this blue line here. So I haven't moved any of these around since the last video. So it's tracing roughly around 4.6 cents. So it's not far off to where it is right now. So we can start adjusting this a bit more in our minds. Suggest, okay, what are the opportunities to try and buy back in? Well, of course, the next lower area would be 4.3 cents. And then, of course, what you typically or should or would happen in the grand scheme of things is to come and retest these lower regions as well. So we've got these like macro fib levels here. This is taking it into a shorter consideration if you're like a day trader or someone that looks at it quite specifically on a very detailed level. You can see all the different areas of interest if you're doing that short-term trading. So I try and have a bit of a blend here for my personal gain, really, in terms of understanding where we're going. So I haven't sold any VeChain at this price point. I'm waiting for the bigger numbers again, of course. But it's really interesting to see, okay, cool. Because when I gave that example, when I was looking at it around 2.7 cents, I'm arguing in my mind all the time, shall I, shan't I? I'm seeing stability. It's a good opportunity. I missed it. It goes up. I don't sit there and panic and FOMO into here. I wait for a retracement, which always comes at some point. And you have to be a bit patient for it, a bit more relaxed about it. Arguably, this could stabilize and shoot up to the next level. Absolutely. But I'm in a winning position in regards to that anyway, because I've held VeChain at multiple different price points and I have got an accumulation a lot at that 1.5 cents. So if I did want to, I'm not going to be angry to sell off in those areas and wait a bit longer. But in this instance, we got the two spectrums of information here. One is the fact that we could potentially go and test that 5.9 cents. Or we could come and retrace back down towards this 3.7 to 4.2 cent mark as well at some point. And a particular trigger point would be this one where we had an increase on the 16th of December with a high of pretty much 4 cents on the nose. So I'd be looking at this particular area as well. But as I said, I've already kind of put an adjustment in my mind. 4.3 could be a potential DC opportunity. Is it enough for me personally? Not really. I would probably be just waiting out for those sort of 3.5, 3 cent marks again. Again, that could potentially take a few weeks, if not a month or two. And then by that time, we're at the Bitcoin halving amount, which could really change the markets dramatically either way. It will be remaining to be seen for sure. So these are my trigger points. These are my kind of DCA areas of opportunity. But back to my point here, when I was looking at this I'm not angry with, because I'm seeing opportunity. I'm seeing excitement again. But I'm also seeing that, okay, cool. Any other future narratives, especially in a bull run, this thing can really fly in big numbers. So we've seen this reaction from the news of the last few days. It's not huge news. It's just a confirmation that VeChain is continuing its development, its progress. And that's great as an investor, right? So it's also confirming to me, cool, when it comes back down, we've kind of got a double confirmation that this is a good area of purchasing. So there is definitely my buy orders still around the sort of 2.8, 2.7 marks to consider as well. That's my thought process at VeChain at the moment. You can see on the RSIs on the bottom left here, 82 on 14-day and 72 on 28. I'm not going to be purchasing right now at all. Personally, it's not financial advice, but personally, because these numbers are too high. I always tend to wait for the 42 to 45. If I go back to here, there's an argument I probably should have pulled a bit of a trigger around here towards the end of January. But as things go, there's so many things in my portfolio, time consumption. That's why I try and do limit orders. But in this instance, because we were tracing at this kind of amount quite often, I wasn't really paying too much attention to it over those couple of weeks. And I missed that opportunity. So it's always learning all the time to be a bit more observant about that, or at least have that management skill in your mind to think about limit orders, or if it continues to stay at a certain level. Some people use like the stop orders as well, which is quite helpful. But again, back to my point that there's always opportunity. So if you're jumping in, looking at VeChain going, oh, wow, that's had a big move, I'm going to jump in at these higher stages. Learn from some of these mistakes. As I said, yeah, of course, there's the opportunity that it could rise up to the next fib levels. Absolutely. And you've been in a winning position, but 9 times out of 10, especially on those RSIs being so high, there's opportunity on downward trends as well. So just keep an eye out for a guy. Always, guys, look, the risk assessment aspect is really important. And the indicators on the right hand side here, performance-wise, give me great confidence for VeChain moving forwards. When we look at the longer range, again, if we can battle past these points of volatility or mini volatility that we've seen in the past, look at these upscaled movements. They come quite quickly in a short space of time. Just get rid of this advert so I can show you. Let's look at this downward trend back to here. So this market down here in February 2021 is around 3.8 cents. And within a short space of 2 months, guys, we're all the way up here, which is absolutely phenomenal. That's how quick it can happen. February to April, going from 4 cents up to 27. So these things are definitely a possibility. Are we seeing similar patterns to around this marker here? Potentially, but it remains to be seen in my opinion. I think we've got a lot more testing to do. I think everyone's a lot more savvy than they were in 2021, including new investors that come in as well, because of course they have to do the questionnaires and things when they sign up to crypto accounts now. It's not just a jump in gung-ho mentality anymore. Sometimes it is. But let's see how this plays out, guys. I'm really excited about VeChain as a technology, but I'm definitely for sure excited about its potential in the future. Where are we going with this? The all-time high was 27 cents. We drew this in the previous all-time as next potential all-time high movements. I do anticipate us to get towards that 50 cent mark and potentially towards the 80 cent mark. Some are asking or suggesting maybe $1.5, $2. Let's see. But if we can go even from this existing stage at 4.5 cents right now to previous all-time highs, which is huge as it is, if we get towards 50 or $1, in terms of 50 cents or $1 respectively, that is absolutely gigantic. And I definitely know it will happen in the next few years with VeChain for sure. Will it happen this year into next year? Let's see. But let us know your comments and feelings, guys, in the comments below. Are you excited about VeChain? Have you taken advantage of this recent move? Let us know. Love to hear from all of you. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll wrap that one there. We'll see you in the next VeChain video. Take care. Bye-bye.